Hey, Vikings faithful, Skull. It's time to gather around, purple and gold, because today we're diving into a story that hits right in the heart of every Minnesota Vikings fan. We've lost a legend, an icon, a cornerstone of our franchise. Jim Marshall, the Iron Man of the Purple People Eaters, passed away at 87. This is a moment to honor a man who defined toughness, leadership, and Vikings pride, even if he's forever linked to one infamous play. Are you ready to celebrate his legacy with me? Let's jump in and remember why Jim Marshall is the soul of Vikings Nation. This isn't just about a player. It's about the man who set the standard for what it means to be a Viking. Jim Marshall's story is one of grit, heart, and an unrelenting love for the game. From his record-breaking durability to his leadership on the field, he was the heartbeat of those legendary Vikings teams of the 60s and 70s. So, what made Jim so special? And how do we honor a legacy that's both triumphant and tinged with one unforgettable blunder? Stick with me as we break it down, scene by scene, and let's share our favorite Marshall moments in the comments below. Before we dive into the 10 scenes of this incredible journey, let's set the stage. A man who started 270 consecutive games, led the Purple People Eaters to 4 Super Bowls, and left a mark on Minnesota that still shines today. From his Ohio State roots to his 19 seasons in purple, Marshall's life was a masterclass in resilience. Ready to feel the pride and the pain of his story? Let's go, Vikings fans. Skol. Jim Marshall wasn't just a player. He was a force of nature. Born in Kentucky in 1937, he carved his path at Ohio State, earning All-American honors in 1958 and helping the Buckeyes win a national title in 1957. His journey to the NFL wasn't straightforward. He spent a year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the CFL before being drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 1960. But it was in 1961, when he was traded to the expansion Minnesota Vikings, that his legend truly began. That trade marked the start of something epic. Marshall joined a fledgling Vikings team and became the cornerstone of a defense that would terrify the NFL. Alongside Gary Larson, Alan Page, and Carl Eller, he formed the Purple People Eaters, a defensive line that didn't just play, they dominated. Can you imagine being a quarterback facing that wall of purple? What's your favorite memory of the Vikings' early days? Drop it in the comments. This was the dawn of Vikings greatness, and Marshall was at the heart of it. His arrival in Minnesota wasn't just a roster move. It was the beginning of a legacy that would see him play 19 of his 20 NFL seasons in purple. He wasn't just durable, he was unstoppable, setting the tone for a franchise that still strives to live up to his example. Let's keep that fire burning as we move to the next chapter of his story. The Purple People Eaters weren't just a defensive line. They were a phenomenon. Jim Marshall, wearing number 70, stood shoulder to shoulder with Hall of Famers Alan Page and Carl Eller, plus the relentless Gary Larson. Together, they powered the Vikings to 4 Super Bowl appearances between 1969 and 1976. Sure, we didn't bring home the trophy, but those teams put Minnesota on the map as a football powerhouse. Marshall's role? He was the leader of the band, as Fran Tarkenton called him. A 14-time team captain, he didn't just talk the talk, he walked it every single game. His estimated 130.5 sacks, unofficial since the NFL didn't track them until 1982, put him among the all-time greats, tied for 22nd in league history. Can you picture him chasing down quarterbacks like Roger Staubach? Who's your favorite Vikings defender of all time? Let me know below. Those Super Bowl runs defined an era, but they also showed Marshall's heart. Even in defeat, he never backed down, playing through pain and leading by example. The Vikings X account lit up with tributes to him, and it's no wonder why. Marshall was the glue that held that defense together. Let's honor that legacy as we head into his record-breaking durability. Let's talk about the word Iron Man. Jim Marshall didn't just embody it, he defined it. He started 270 consecutive regular season games, a record only surpassed by Brett Favre's 297. For a defensive player, his 282 consecutive games played, including playoffs, is unmatched in NFL history. Think about that, 19 seasons with the Vikings, never missing a start. That's the kind of toughness we celebrate in Vikings Nation. His durability wasn't just physical, it was mental. Hall of Fame coach Bud Grant once said, "Jim loves to play football. He has great enthusiasm for the game." That passion drove him to recover 29 fumbles, a record he held at retirement, later tied by Jason Taylor. What's the most inspiring thing about Marshall's Ironman streak to you? Share your thoughts in the comments. This wasn't just about showing up, it was about showing out. Marshall played through pain, led with quiet strength, and set a standard that still echoes in Minnesota. The Vikings owners, the Wilf family, called him the all-time Ironman, and they're planning a celebration of his life. Let's keep that spirit alive as we dive into one of the most infamous moments in NFL history. October 25, 1964. Kezar Stadium, San Francisco. The play that would define Jim Marshall's career in the eyes of many, for all the wrong reasons. In the fourth quarter, he scooped up a fumble by 49ers running back Billy Kilmer and sprinted 66 yards toward the end zone. The crowd roared, his teammates waved frantically. But Marshall didn't realize he was running the wrong way. He crossed his own goal line, tossed the ball into the stands in celebration, and then froze, hands on hips, as the truth hit. He'd just given the 49ers a safety. "Think about the worst mistake you've ever made," Marshall later told NFL Films. "And imagine 200 million people seeing it and teasing you about it every day. How would you handle that kind of spotlight?" Drop your thoughts below. But here's the thing. The Vikings still won that game, 27-22, thanks to a forced fumble by Marshall earlier that led to a touchdown. The wrong way run became NFL lore, one of the 100 most memorable plays in league history, but it didn't define him. Let's explore how Marshall turned that moment into a testament to his character. That wrong way run could have broken a lesser man, but not Jim Marshall. He took it in stride, showing the kind of grace and resilience that made him a leader. "It took a lot of guts for me to go back on that field," he told NFL Films, "because I took football very seriously." Yet he faced the laughter and kept playing, proving his worth game after game. The Vikings community embraced him, and so did his teammates. Carl Eller, another Purple People eater, paid tribute to Marshall's leadership on X, calling him a brother. Fans, what's a moment when you faced a mistake and came back stronger? Share your story in the comments. It's what makes us Vikings fans, tough and resilient. Marshall's ability to laugh off the gaff, combined with his on-field dominance, made him a fan favorite. His number 70 is retired. His name is in the Vikings Ring of Honor, and his legacy lives on. Let's look at how his off-field impact matched his on-field heroics. Jim Marshall wasn't just a star on the gridiron. He was a pillar of the Twin Cities. From charity work to community events, he embodied the spirit of Minnesota. Former Vikings GM Jeff Diamond shared memories of Marshall's big smile and warm personality, whether he was a player or a retiree at special events. That's the kind of man he was, always giving back. The Vikings X account exploded with images of Marshall after his passing, a testament to his lasting impact. The team announced plans for a celebration of his life, and you can bet it'll be a heartfelt tribute to a man who bled purple. Have you ever met a Vikings legend or been to a team event? Tell us about it in the comments. His community work wasn't just a footnote. It was a core part of who he was. Marshall's leadership extended beyond the locker room, inspiring fans and players alike. As we move forward, let's see how his teammates and coaches remembered him. Fran Tarkenton, the Hall of Fame quarterback, called Marshall the greatest leader in football I ever played with. That's high praise from a man who shared the field with him for 12 seasons. Tarkenton's tribute on X highlighted Marshall's role as the face of the Vikings, a player who led by example and never let his team down. Bud Grant, the legendary coach who passed in 2023, put Marshall in a category of his own, special. Grant praised his ability to play through pain and his love for the game, qualities that made him a 14-time captain. Who do you think carries Marshall's leadership torch on today's Vikings roster? Let's hear your picks in the comments. Teammates like Carl Eller and Alan Page leaned on Marshall's quiet strength. His ability to rally the Purple People eaters made those Super Bowl runs possible, even if the wins didn't come. Let's dive into why his Hall of Fame case is still a hot topic. Despite his incredible career, Jim Marshall isn't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that's a sore spot for Vikings fans. With 130.5 sacks, 29 fumble recoveries, and 270 consecutive starts, his resume screams Canton. NFL Network's Steve Weish, a Minneapolis native, said it best. The credentials are there, so why no gold jacket? He was a two-time Pro Bowler and one-time All-Pro, but some argue the wrong way run overshadowed his brilliance. Others point to the stacked Vikings rosters, with Hall of Famers like Page and Eller splitting the spotlight. Should Marshall get a posthumous nod? Sound off in the comments, Vikings Nation. The Vikings' Ring of Honor and retired number 70 cement his legacy in Minnesota, but the Hall of Fame debate rages on. As fans, we know he's a legend, but let's explore how his final years and passing hit the Vikings community. Marshall's passing on June 3, 2025, after a lengthy hospitalization, sent shockwaves through Vikings Nation. His wife, Susan, confirmed his death at age 87, though no cause was disclosed. The Wilf family's statement captured it perfectly. No player in Vikings history lived the ideals of toughness, camaraderie, and passion more than Jim Marshall. That's our captain. Tributes poured in on X, from fans to former teammates like Carl Eller. The Vikings announced a celebration of his life, and you can bet it'll be a sea of purple and gold. How do you plan to honor Marshall's memory? Maybe a throwback jersey or a toast to number 70? Share your ideas below. His loss is a reminder of how fleeting time is, but also how enduring his impact remains. From the Twin Cities to NFL films, Marshall's story will live on. Let's wrap this up with a look at what's next for the Vikings as they carry his legacy forward. As we mourn Jim Marshall, the Vikings are gearing up for the 2025 season, carrying his spirit of toughness. The team's schedule is out, and with stars like Justin Jefferson and a revamped defense, they're ready to chase that elusive Super Bowl. Marshall's legacy, his leadership, his durability, lives in every player who dons the purple and gold. Fans, this is our time to rally. Let's honor Jim by cheering louder, loving harder, and believing in this team. What's your bold prediction for the Vikings in 2025? Drop it in the comments, and let's get the Skol chant going. The celebration of Marshall's life is coming, and we'll be there, united as Vikings Nation. That's it for today's tribute to a true legend. If this hit you in the feels, smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite Jim Marshall memory, and subscribe for more Vikings news. Share this with every fan in your crew, and let's keep the purple pride alive. Skol, Vikings, and rest in peace, Jim Marshall.